everybody, it's Brooke with Mrs. Cog Hill Farm, and I look like I could get blown away at any minute. We've had enough rain this past, say, week to last us a while, but it appears it's about to happen again. So unexpected for today's forecast, I do have what I would call my better clothes on, and I have been gone all day long, literally. I should have already recorded before today because I knew I had an appointment set up where I was supposed to go for physical therapy and also supposed to go for a yearly OBGYN mammogram. And y'all, I tell you, it just takes all day, especially when you got to travel an hour and a half to get there. So I left out early this morning. Jason took care of the farm, and of course, you know, I wasn't able to double check everything. And then when I talked to him, he was not at home and he was concerned that he didn't turn everything off and water-wise. He didn't have his bracelet on, so I knew all was good. But it's been a day, but I'm back home now. I did go to physical therapy, and I've had a little bit of a doctor visit drama going on this week. Over the weekend, one of my pins in my hand started trying to push out, and it happened on Saturday after the live. I don't know really what happened, but I had to contact the surgeon, and he told me to come in first thing Monday morning, which I did. So this is my second trip to Birmingham this week. Upon his inspection, that pin may indeed puncture my skin and come out. And if that's the case, I need to contact him. But right now with our physical therapy, we're just trying to prevent that from happening. So my movements are much more minimal because we don't want that to happen. And we need that bone to stabilize and the pins to stay in there to do that. So here's the crazy part. I had this appointment, this OBGYN mammogram appointment for a year because I set it up at my visit year to year in advance. Well, I knew that they had scheduled my physical therapy on this day. So Monday when I went to the doctor, I went to the physical therapy counter and I said, look, I've got to see the physical therapist at 9:30 Wednesday morning, which is today. And I've also got to be at another location for another appointment at 11 o'clock. Will I be able to make it? I'm a punctual person, if there is such a thing. I mean, I know punctuality is a thing, but I have to be on time. Yes, ma'am, you'll be fine. Don't reschedule anything. You'll be fine. Okay. So I went by myself and I left the physical therapy appointment. I told the lady, I said, look, we've talked enough. I got to go. I got to get to my appointment and I got to be on time. I get there and I go up to the counter and they said, yes, ma'am, are you here to check in? And I said, I am. What's your last name? Smith. Okay. First name? Brooke. Miss Brooke, I don't see you down. I said, well, yes, ma'am, I have an appointment today because I just confirmed it on a text that y'all sent me while I was at another appointment. Plus that, it's been on my calendar for a year. So, you know, you may just need to look a little deeper. And I'm getting my card out ready to, you know, pay for my service. And she says, Miss Brooke, we have you down in June on this day. Y'all, I tell you the truth. I've been a little mixed up before, but this was a big one. This was a big mix up. And I'm sure I'll have many more in my life. It's not anything that was detrimental to my health or my family, but I can laugh about it now, knowing that my day was full of medical appointments, and there I stood with no appointment, no second appointment. So I had to laugh, and I thought to myself, I really don't want to tell Marycarl about this because she's gonna know when I tell her I have to come back in a month. Why didn't you go the last time when you said you went? But I told her, and of course we all got a good laugh out of it. And I went on and got me some lunch and did some things that I needed to do. And one of those being pick up some more paint for the chicken tractor. And we're gonna go over there in just a minute and take a peek at it. But Mr. Caden, who is our farm helper, he's not out of school yet, but he's been helping us on the weekend and after school. And one of the things that he's been doing is getting the chicken trailer ready for construction. And we're using this paint. They're not sponsoring us or anything, but it is a Rust-Oleum, Reform, and Sealer. And y'all, I've had a hard time finding it. So I'm picking it up here, there, and everywhere. Nobody has more than a couple of cans. I don't know how many cans we've used, but it's quite a few. So let's go over there and take a look. Caden's not gonna be able to come this afternoon. Unfortunately, he's got some things to take care of, but he's gonna get finished soon. And I picked up 5 cans that I can indeed take back if I need to. And the 5 cans did come from 2 different locations. So let's go over and, oh goodness. I got the cat dog coming, Miss Tucker. Tucker, I'm glad you decided to come and visit, baby. I'm glad you did. You and your dog friends. Tucker is, we've always said Tucker was part dog, and I really, really believe Tucker is part dog. Oh my goodness. We are still under the shed over here, which I'm glad it's under the shed because there have been some nights that we got rain and Caden came the next morning and all he kind of had to do was to wait on the humidity to lower a little bit so he could indeed put some paint on. But y'all, let me show you. So this may not look like much to y'all, but to Tucker, this is extraordinary. Extraordinary. And I say that because it's taken a lot of time and a lot of paint and a lot of concentration to get all this sprayed. And not only has he sprayed most of the rust, you can see the difference in where he's gotten it sprayed and where he hasn't. I hope 5 more cans will do it because I'm still going to be on the lookout if I see any more. I'm going to pick it up. But he's also painted, hey, excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Now look, you are my security, but I really wasn't planning to film you today. He's also been, oh my, I did something to my phone. I bet I'm calling somebody I don't mean to. He's also been painting on the wheels, which, let's see if he did the other side, Bandit. This side he did. We wanted them black because we really don't want them to stand out. We just want them to blend in and not be noticed. And of course, my Dee Dee's down there. She has to go everywhere I go. No, I think he's got them painted all the way around. This is good. This is good. And all we do is direct Caden as to where to go, and Caden gets it done. Doesn't he, Tucker? So the front is where he started. And I must say that the paint does a fantastic job because this was all rusted, and it puts, it's almost like an undercoat, but it stops the rust at the same time. So it's a 2-part paint in one can. And like I said, it's taken a lot of paint, but it's gonna be done right. And that's what we want, because once we get finished with this, I hit my shin, that hurt. Once we get finished with this Eggmobile, we want the frame to be the way we want it. There's not gonna be any going back and touching that up later. It's gonna be basically a building on the top here. And you know, the frame is just as important as the building is on top. So we're not gonna cut any corners. We're gonna make sure it's done right. And here is my lovely peahen, who y'all haven't seen in a minute. I really thought that she was sitting on eggs somewhere, but these last few days I've seen her more and more, and I don't think she is. I don't think she has laid anything. So we did take a lot of old metal off the Eggmobile, and we got it piled up ready to go to a scrap metal pile or scrap metal place to have it recycled and turn it into a little cache. So my job over these next few days will be taking my tractor with my new bonnet on top that Jason put on there, and putting my forks on and loading all this scrap up to take it to indeed cash it in and get some funds in return that'll provide feed for our animals and get it off the ground, because it's an unsightly thing being over here. But we've just with my hand going on, we just hadn't had a lot of spare time. I was looking at some things that are getting behind on the farm, and of course Jason's only one person, Marycarl's only one person, and we can only do so much. But between all of us, I guess we're doing a pretty okay job. It's just some things have happened that I wouldn't normally let happen if my injury hadn't happened. One of those things that I was referring to getting behind on is checking for goose eggs, and that really doesn't need to happen, because once they get started developing and a goose has started sitting on them, they don't need to be thrown away, and I wouldn't let a life to start developing before I made a decision to give them to Catherine or, you know, dispose of them. So I'm gonna go right now. I can see I've got some pots in the back of my bighorn side by side, and see if I've got any eggs that need collecting. I bet you Dee Dee will go with me and she'll search. If she won't, Gidget will. Hey Dee Dee, you think there's any eggs over there, girl? I bet you do a good job at checking for me, won't you? Something's going right today, because I was on my way to gather the eggs and I got a message from Catherine. She was on her way home, and I said, hey, stop by here on your way home, because I have a feeling there's probably a couple of 3 geese eggs out there, and if there are, I want you to take them home with you and put them in your incubator. So she's about to be here. However, she says she's nasty. She says she's been working outside all day, and she'd rather me not video her, but from the waist up, we're not gonna tell her any different. I mean, we're farmers. Farmers get dirty, right? We don't get all dolled up. Not even when we go to the doctor. We just put on clothes that are not so raggedy. And somebody asked in one of my most recent videos, how do we stay so clean if we work on a farm? I guarantee you, most of the time when we film, it's first thing in the morning, y'all. We aren't dirty yet. If we film in the late afternoon, we're dirty. I'm gonna show you how dirty Catherine is without her knowing. By the magic of TV, here she is, Miss G&G, in all of her lovely farm attire. Yeah. You look beautiful. You're a working lady, and hey, people wouldn't be watching you if you didn't work hard.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I've been playing in cow poop, chicken poop, goose poop, goat poop. I've been playing poop today. So, hey, it is what it is.
Well, we're not showing you, but from just a little bit. So,
good.
Look, do you think there's any goose eggs out there?
You know what? I'm going to be willing to put money that there's goose eggs out there.
Well, I was so glad you messaged me and said you were on your way home. Did I need anything? Because I needed you to stop by. And although you haven't been inside anywhere, you're inside here, because we're going with a bucket and we're going to see what we can come up with.
And all right. I had 10 goslings to hatch today.
10?
10, yeah.
Were they all white?
Well, there are, I think, 3, maybe 3 that's got some color on them, like those. But the rest of them are going to be white. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, all of these geese derived from the Sebastopol breed of geese. And that's the first pair that we ever had. And so they all have a little bit of that blood in it. It's just been mixed up over time. For the most part, they have a pretty good, you know, docile personality, but I was just telling you, I can see some drama has happened.
Well, yeah, and some of those babies you can tell are going to have the Sebastopol because their feathers are longer when they come out of the shell. They're beautiful. They're just...
And this is really Pringles. She's probably, you know, I hate to say I have a favorite, but she's the one with the most color back there. And the lady that we bought our first pair of Sebastopols from was working on creating color in Sebastopols, and she successfully did that. So she ended up with some that were almost gray.
Webster is that color.
Is he?
Yes, Webster's a girl.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Webby's a girl, and she's that color. And now she lives in the pen with some chickens that she spoils.
Well, let's go, Catherine. Let's go see what we can find.
All right.
You know, there might not be anything because something might be getting the eggs.
It looks like something got them.
There's nothing here. That doesn't mean anything, though, because they may have figured out that we had their number. It may be, we may better watch out because it might be a big old snake.
It could be.
Could be anything.
Well, if it is, I'm going to wrangle it.
I know you are. And I'm going to show you from head to toe if you do.
When I've holding a big snake.
That's right. All right, so I have been seeing some activity down in this bottom, and y'all, it never gets overgrown like this. I've been down. I cannot work the lawnmower. Jason's had too much to do. And Marycarl, I'm not going to let her get on the tractor over here. So, look, we've had so much rain. Look how much the ground is saturated. We never see water over here.
It's draining into the pond.
It is. And I feel a sprinkle right now. Well, goodness, I didn't know I was going to make you trek all over the place.
Oh, I'm not worried about it.
You heard that Jessie cutting up, didn't you?
She's cutting up.
Well,
it has rained for 5 days straight.
And you know, it was not supposed to rain today. And look at it. It looks like...
tomorrow's supposed to be dry too.
Yeah. Right.
Now, it's supposed to start raining again Saturday.
So we are maybe in for a wet summer. I know it's not summer yet. Nugget, as long as we don't come across a Goldie egg, we might be okay. Here's something that caught my eye. It's just a mushroom. Yeah, I think Goldie's done, Catherine. I think Goldie's done. However, you just said that when you pulled up that she's drumming again. Drumming sound is an indicator that she is she's laying. Okay, and I told y'all on the live the other day that we're wanting the pond to dry up because we need some work to be done on it. Lo and behold, as soon as we need it to dry up, it's filling up.
So those geese were hanging around this.
Yeah, there's probably a big water moccasin up under that boat.
There's a big frog.
Big frog? You know, I'm thinking one thing, and that is Nugget knew that something was off because he's been looking at my hand. And he told those geese, y'all better stop laying. I told Goldie to do the same thing. I told Goldie to stop laying. So the geese have stopped laying simply because Nugget told them to. So here's Catherine. And Catherine just came over to pay me a visit. I'm glad you did, but I'm sorry we didn't get any eggs.
Well, hey, it's perfectly all right. At this point, I'm taking them to keep them from dying.
I know. Well, I just told you to stop because I knew that they were developing and I couldn't just chunk them.
Oh,
so.
yeah. You know, we got to let them hatch. We got to have them
That's
little
right,
goslings.
that's right.
But you know what is the funniest thing? That I have found so many people that want them.
Oh, yeah. There's a big demand.
To go with their chickens.
Sure.
And, you know, and I'm not out to get rich off
That's
of them,
right,
so
that's
I'm
right.
sharing.
As long as you got a good home for them to
That's
go
exactly
to,
right.
then that's the way I am. You know, breeding has its purposes.
It does.
And if you've got a home for them to go to, then that's fine. But just to, you know.
Well, there's been some lucky people that got them from me.
Well, I'm happy that you were able to spread the love and to keep everybody busy. But I'm also happy that they obeyed the main sheriff here, Mr. Nugget. Yeah, you told him to quit laying. You told Goldie to quit laying. And you keep it that way, okay, sir? Thank you.
That is Goldie on my watch. That's Goldie's picture.
Well, y'all, I appreciate you listening to my silly story about going to the appointment that did not exist. And I appreciate my friend Catherine coming over to see if she couldn't help me out. And she didn't need to. I just needed to visit for a minute and
That's right.
share with her. But until next time, y'all be good.